Nintendo just exhausted their two biggest Nintendo Switch 2 games literally in the first 2 months, being Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza. It's no secret that these are going to be the best-selling games for Nintendo Switch 2, but what's next? As we move into the month of September in just about a week, I have to think about what in the world is Nintendo's next big game. Don't get me wrong, I am very excited for games like Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment, and even Kirby Air Riders, which the new Direct actually showed off a lot of interesting stuff about the game. But even with both of those games, those are kind of spin-offs that move away from what the game is normally about. And I love Metroid, but even with Metroid Prime 4, I don't know if the series is big enough for Nintendo to even consider it one of their big, major games upcoming. For them, technically right now it's probably the biggest, but when you look at the series history, the only Metroid game ever to sell over 3 million copies was the recent Metroid Dread on a Nintendo Switch. Before we move on and start talking about other games, I do want to just kind of humor the idea of Metroid Prime 4 being Nintendo's next massive game that they push. Right now, they're not really pushing the game, which makes me think also they don't care about it being like the next huge game like it was with Donkey Kong Bonanza or Mario Kart World, but I think it has the potential to. If Nintendo really markets this game as just one of their huge holiday games and it actually comes out in like October or November, Nintendo could really make some money off this thing. Greatly bump up Metroid's reputation. I mean, if a 2D side-scrolling Metroid Dread can actually sell 3 million copies, then a fully 3D first-person action-adventure game like Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, in my head, should easily reach over 6 to 7 million units sold. That would be the dream come true, after all. What helps it even more is it's year one and within the first 6 months of a brand new console, so people are probably going to be buying anything and everything that comes out for Switch 2 for the first year or so. So this is definitely going to help out a lot when it comes to people just seeing a brand new game this holiday season. But for me to even think for a second that this is considered one of Nintendo's next big games, I just don't see it happening, simply due to the fact that Nintendo's just not advertising the game as such. But who knows, maybe we'll get a big blowout and a big marketing push very soon in the next Nintendo Direct. So if there was one game this year, I'd definitely say it's going to be Pokemon for Nintendo, unfortunately, which is not unfortunate, but it's unfortunate for non-Pokemon fans, I guess. Now, what about for the very end of this year or moving into next year? Is there anything else? Well, Nintendo has 2 games already planned for next year, and they may not be large-scale games. They're in fact Switch 1 and Switch 2 games because they were already announced to be on Switch 1, and that is Tomodachi Life Living the Dream and Rhythm Heaven Groove. In fact, Tomodachi Life has way better sales than any Metroid game ever did, so perhaps Nintendo even treats that as a bigger and more important title, but still, obviously, I don't think these 2 games are going to be any of Nintendo's next huge games to look forward to. So my first actual thought on what I think the very next big Nintendo game is Splatoon Raiders, and I can already hear the comments, well, technically see them, but yes, I get it, it's a spin-off. How in the world is this going to be Nintendo's next huge game? But it's the type of spin-off. When you look at Kirby Air Riders, it's a spin-off made by Sakurai and his team that's a racing game for Kirby. It's completely different. It's something that's a lot more toned down and more party-friendly. Then you have something like Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment. We've already had 2 Hyrule Warriors games. They're made by a third-party developer being Koei Tecmo, and it's a completely different style of Zelda game that's more large hordes of enemies, you know, beat 'em up. Very different than the Zelda we love and know. Just because this is a spin-off of Splatoon doesn't mean it's not going to be good or very ambitious. This doesn't seem to be a racing game or some type of tactical RPG or something that's just vastly different. It seems like it's Splatoon that we know and love, but not focused on multiplayer. Instead, focused on story, a single-player adventure game, which is very big for Nintendo. Let me tell you, this is on the scale of a 3D Kirby, a 3D Donkey Kong, almost a 3D Mario if you ask me, if they play their cards right. Now, I still have no clue why they decided to show this game off, you know, the little bit that they did a couple of months ago. It doesn't really make sense to me why they just shadow dropped that online instead of just waiting for a Nintendo Direct, so I don't know if that means it's still coming out this year somehow. Is it going to be coming out next year? They never even gave us a window of release, so we don't know when it was even originally planned. I think a lot of people are now mentally moving on to next year, and I think I'm starting to join that. At first, I really thought it was going to be like a big holiday game for this year, but I don't know. Maybe the next Nintendo Direct will give us some more information on that. But yeah, I do think Splatoon Raiders is going to be looked at by Nintendo as one of their next big upcoming games. Would it even be a Nintendo Land prediction video if I didn't bring up 3D Mario in some sort of capacity? Now, if you guys missed my previous videos, I made a bet this year saying that if there is some type of 40th anniversary Direct or something along those lines, and we don't get any reveal whatsoever of a 3D Mario game, that I would officially dress up as Mario Mario, eat a plate of spaghetti on the floor, and not talk about 3D Mario ever again in any video until we get a trailer. There's no way. There's genuinely no way. If Nintendo does have a 40th anniversary direct of some capacity, then they have to reveal the next 3D Mario there, because what else would they show? We've got so many collections, so many past games now. I mean, yes, we could finally get Galaxy 2 in some sort of fashion. I don't know how that even looks, but I think it'd be absolutely mind-boggling if they had a 40th presentation and didn't show off something with the next 3D Mario game. To me, this is like the first one that should be on Nintendo's priority list when moving into 2026. Like, they need to really start planning on this game being the big focus, and I personally would love to see it at the very beginning of next year, around the springtime, but knowing Nintendo, this thing probably won't even see the shelves until like the holiday season of 2026, which just pains me to say. But a lot of people keep bringing up the fact that Donkey Kong Bonanza just came out, so there's no way Nintendo's going to reveal this too. Donkey Kong Bonanza is out and it's done. It's now time for something else. And we know that the Bonanza team is just an extension of the Odyssey team. And we know that the producer is not the main producer of Super Mario Odyssey for a very good reason, because the producer of Mario Odyssey has been working on this 3D Mario game. It's very clear, it's very evident. Especially since Donkey Kong Bonanza was already kind of like an Odyssey 2, so they can finally shut down people saying, can we please get Odyssey 2? Because I didn't really want it from the very beginning. But yes, this just confirms straight up that, yeah, we're going to be getting probably a completely different style of Mario game. And I'm really hoping for more of an ambitious open world, almost like a Breath of the Wild take for Mario. Not necessarily what Breath of the Wild did, but rather something that's so different and so completely unique and wild of a formula that they completely changed for Mario. Like something that makes us say, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? It's going to feel like the Breath of the Wild for the Switch 2, if that makes any sense. Mario Kart World was good, Donkey Kong Bonanza was great, spectacular even, but none of those even reached the experience I had for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And I think it's time we get something on that scale with another IP, and I think it's Mario's turn. However, I don't think this is Nintendo's next big game. This might be their next monumental game, but their next big game is probably going to be Splatoon Raiders, if we're being honest. I don't think it's time for this quite yet, but that doesn't mean we're not going to get an announcement soon. Like I said, Mario's 40th anniversary probably kicks off in another week or so, so we should be getting something very, very soon for this 3D Mario game. At least I'm really, really hoping. So Splatoon Raiders and 3D Mario are really just kind of in my mind as the next big Nintendo games. But what else could also fit that bill based on just the timing of everything and could actually release next year? Well, another one I've been thinking about is Luigi's Mansion 4. Luigi's Mansion 3 sold an insane amount of copies on Nintendo Switch. So insane, it's probably one of the few games I've ever seen, and I just said immediately, yeah, Luigi's Mansion 4 is going in production right away. Luigi's Mansion 3 came out in 2019, so that means by 2026, it will be 7 years since Luigi's Mansion 3. I mean, these development times are getting longer and longer, that's for sure. But I'd be very shocked if we don't hear or see anything from Luigi's Mansion throughout the entirety of next year. With a franchise so young and so fresh as Luigi's Mansion right now, there's so much potential for what they could actually do in the future. Another one it's almost time for is Animal Crossing. New Horizons not only came out at the perfect time at the beginning of quarantine in 2020, but it also put up some unprecedented numbers. Almost 50 million copies sold, 48.19 to be exact, but oh my gosh, you know they're working on the next Animal Crossing, and you know it's probably near completion because we are approaching 6 years since that game came out in 2026. Nintendo would have to be stupid to not have a brand new Animal Crossing within the first 2 years of their brand new console, because man, this thing sold like hotcakes. Nintendo now has a chance to keep this game more alive than ever by constantly updating it now. Since it's at the beginning of the life cycle of a brand new console, they can continue to update it year after year after year to keep people playing for the entire life cycle of Switch 2. It's what they should have been doing with Animal Crossing New Horizons, but instead they just abandoned the game after the first year of updates. So hopefully they just treat the next Animal Crossing almost like Splatoon, where there's just years and years and years of content and special events and stuff to look forward to. And the last one that I could possibly think of as an upcoming game that's really, really big and important for Nintendo has to be Smash Brothers, right? I know Sakurai and his team has been working really, really hard on Kirby Air Riders, but that comes out in November. So has Sakurai also been working on something else? The rumor right now is apparently Nintendo let Sakurai make Kirby Air Riders if Sakurai would help create another Smash game. That's what the rumors are. How much weight and merit does it have? I don't know. Did you know that this December, it'll be 7 years since Smash Ultimate came out, which is by far the longest gap between Smash Brothers games ever. It actually will be tied from the time moving from Melee to Brawl from GameCube to Wii. So yeah, it's a pretty long time. So it's about time we see or hear something from Smash Brothers. And I think we could probably get some type of reveal at the beginning of next year, maybe the middle or even the end of next year. But I do think Smash Brothers is very, very soon. I think it's sooner than a lot of people are expecting. I mean, honestly, I would not be entirely surprised if Smash Brothers does just slip into the year next year somehow. So even though there's a lot of fun stuff to look forward to this year, there's going to be a lot of fun big games coming up. And I'm sure Nintendo's got a lot of things to announce very soon, especially since it seems like they've been getting things out of the way to prepare for a really big show relatively soon. I mean, the rumors are starting to swirl that a Nintendo Direct is imminent. And of course, since we're about to start September, it only makes sense. And that on top of a brand new Mario 40th Anniversary Direct just sounds like heaven. Of course, I hate to just get you guys hype, and of course nothing happens. It's Nintendo, anything could happen, so just remember that as we go throughout the September month. But with Nintendo recently giving Kirby Air Riders a whole 45-minute Direct, and with Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment getting a spotlight in the partner showcase recently, the only other game they'd have to talk about is Metroid Prime 4. I mean, they don't even have to touch on, Rhythm Heaven and even Tomodachi Life yet until maybe the beginning of next year, depending on when those games come out. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what Nintendo's been keeping under their sleeves for so long and skipping all these normal Nintendo Direct times. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below, how excited are you for the future of Nintendo? Are you very hopeful? Are you very worried? Are you excited for an upcoming Nintendo Direct, if one's even happening? But let me know down below. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out. And like always, I hope you all have a blessed day, and I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.